Welcome back, guys. I am so excited today. I'm going to be giving you 5 tips to improve your quiet time with Jesus. And yes, I know I brought this miniature in the middle of the room. That's kind of odd. And this is being shot on my phone because my camera is dead, but I'm still going to record this video. So bear with me, okay? So 5 tips to improve your quiet time with Jesus. This is very important to me because it's something that I kind of had to like mess around with and find things that worked for me. So I don't know if these will work for everybody, but they definitely have helped me when I'm either distracted or whatever else. I think it's really helped to improve my quiet time with Jesus. So the first step is prayer. Prayer is so crucial in everything that we do as Christians, but I think specifically when I'm distracted or just not in the mood, I think that prayer helps focus me back on God and ask for the Holy Spirit to fill my mind, because the Bible in itself is kind of like really hard to understand alone, and I think the Holy Spirit is what encourages us to understand it and reveals things to us. So one is just praying that the Holy Spirit fills your heart and fills your mind. 2 is worship music. Worship music is so important. We are called to worship as Christians. But like it also like when I'm listening to worship music, like it stirs up my emotions for Christ, not just to be emotional. Like our faith should not be dependent on our emotions, but it does help stir up our hearts for the Lord. And during that worship time or that worship session that you're having, it silences your mind and your thoughts, and you're able to just bring whatever it is on your mind to God's feet. And be able to just worship Him regardless if you're sad or you're upset or you had a hard day. Just singing praises to the Lord, I think helps. Like, you know, if you start thinking positively, people are saying that like you feel more positive. Same thing with worship. As you're worshiping God, you become more thankful. And I'm sorry, I'm rolling on my sleeve. It unrolled. So yeah, worship, prayer, worship. 3rd is to understand the context in which you're reading. I think that was something that really helped me, because in order to understand what you're reading and understand the message, you need to understand the history of what's going on in the Bible at that time. I just look up, like when I was reading Romans, I was like, okay, I typed into the search bar, I was like, background knowledge on the book of Romans, and you figure out that it's written by Paul and all these different things. So you figure out the writer, and then if you know anything about the writer, like you can research the writer, Apostle Paul, look up his writing style, what type of person he was. You know, the Bible was written by multiple different people over a very long span of time. So by understanding who it is that's writing, you also see encouragement in that. Like Paul actually was Saul, who actually murdered Christians, and now his writing style about suffering and about living a life for Christ, you're like, wow, how did this happen? So that in itself, I think, is just an amazing testimony. And so that kind of just broadens your view of what you're reading. And so yeah, so being able to understand context. 3rd has to do with music too. When you're reading like instrumentals, oh my, like that's helped me so much, because I feel like the words to worship songs, they just distract me. Whereas like an instrumental is still worship, but it's not going to distract you from what you're reading. So you're able to focus in and like stay on track. I love to like listen to things too while I'm reading. It keeps me focused. So being able to listen to an instrumental really helps me. So yeah, prayer, worship, context, instrumental. And then 5th, I think you should invest in a quiet time or a prayer journal. These are so good, especially in your quiet time after you have read what you read and have worshiped. If you just sit there in silence and just pray and listen to worship music and reflect on what you read, sometimes God will like bring something to you, or open your eyes to something, or speak to you through what you have read. And I think being able to write down your prayers and write down whatever it is God revealed to you, I think that's very helpful, because it's almost like in the Old Testament, they like built altars as a remembrance of what God did for them. So this journal becomes like the altar for remembrance for what God did for you. So like these people, they wouldn't worship the altar, but they would look to those altars in remembrance of what God did for them. So you can look back on these journals later on, and I've done this, and just remember what God did for you and what he brought you out of and what he's bringing you through. And it also helps things stick in your mind, I think. So those are my 5 tips. I hope they help. Try them out. So just repeat them back to you. First is prayer. Second is worship. Third is context. Fourth is instrumental. And 5 is a prayer journal. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend or week or whenever you're watching this. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, or do all 3. And send this to somebody who wants some help or some encouragement. How about we comment your favorite chapter or your favorite book of the Bible? Go ahead and comment that down below. Check out our Instagram. It has all the links in the bio. There's a link tree, and it has like our Spotify podcast, our Anchor podcast, and our YouTube channel and the newest videos. And it also has like a question entrance thing. So there's a lot of things there. So you should go check that out. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Love you.